But since we are going to send this into that, I feel maybe we should bring down the topic people. Down. I understand.
And thank you very much for joining us. Most people who catch us from the office probably are not going to be able to do so today. You saw the preceding visual. It's a crawl. Reminds me of one day call, I believe it was, back in the day, bumper to bumper. That's the kind of traffic situation that we have this morning. Even the program that we had planned for, the guests are not going to be able to make it, not in this kind of a situation that you can see here. It just it came out of the blues maybe, but we have the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Frederick Oladeyinde, on the line. Maybe he knows why we have this freak go slow, as we say in Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Oladeyinde.
Yeah, good morning. I can't hear you properly, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we were just showing visuals of Lagos is already, its signature is having these traffic jams. But this is beyond compare. What do you think is going on? Do you know?
Okay. What is happening right now is that last night we had a trailer, a tanker that caught fire on Long Bridge. And so they tried to...
Long Bridge is where in Lagos? Long Bridge is where in Lagos?
Long Bridge, just close to Kara, that's the entrance to Lagos.
Okay.
Long Bridge, very close to Kara. Okay, and so the tanker caught fire, and they tried to put it off last night. Well, actually, the fire got worse, and it took the Lagos Fire Service to actually bring the fire under control this morning. And so the tanker was removed about an hour and a half ago because we had to we had to close the road, and that's a major entrance and exit point from Lagos and into Lagos also. Okay. So by the time that we were able to, quench the fire, obviously the damage has been done. So, I mean, there's been spread of traffic around K2, etc., and that's also built up to Bagada. So that's what we're trying to resolve. Well, the good news is that the trailer or the tanker has been removed, and we've started to move traffic along. But what we're experiencing right now is a backlog of what happened. So in the next 2 hours, everything should dissipate, and Lagos should be under control again.
Okay. Indeed, Lagos becoming under control because movement it's key. But as you said, the Long Bridge incident, that sort of locked down Lagos. It sort of gives one, it makes one consider, are there no alternative routes? Because it's a bit scary if that route has had this effect on Lagos.
It's a good question. The problem is that, I mean, with this incident, even without it, we're already experiencing movement because of the amount of projects that are going on. So there's a lot of constructions going on.
Indeed.
Apapa Urushoki, I mean, there's major work going on. Ojota, there's major work going on. Kara Bridge itself, there's major work going on. So all these have compounded the problem.
Even Ikorodu Road.
I mean,
Ikorodu Road.
And that's the issue. So it's the compounding effect that we're experiencing right now. But we're rushing to do all these projects before the rainy season starts. So unfortunately, I mean, you don't predict fire or etc. So and that's the issue. But we have been communicating alternatives. So for example, I'm on the alternative right now. Coming from the island, you can take Yaba. So once you get on the third mainland bridge, rather than going to you take Yaba, Makoli, and then bust onto Ikorodu Road. Even though Ikorodu Road, I mean, there's congestion, but it's moving. So, I mean, the alternatives, and I think LASTMA has been communicating that to everybody also. LASTMA, FRSC, all the enforcement agencies have been working together to ensure that we keep Lagos moving.
Well, now that this has happened, sort of ancillary questions. Do you have an idea of how many vehicles are actually on the road on a normal day in Lagos? We understand that this emergency has forced too many of them into just this, these few avenues that are available. But it'll be interesting to know. So how many vehicles use Lagos roads on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, we experience about 1.6 to 2 million vehicles per day, which is a lot. That includes those coming from outside, etc. So, I mean, the network is small, and but unfortunately, a lot of people come in to do business and then go out.
Yes.
And just to give you an idea of what Lagos is experiencing, in Nigeria, we have 27 cars to a kilometer of road. Lagos on its own has 226 vehicles to a kilometer of road. So the vehicles in Lagos, I mean, we experience 10 times more than the average in Nigeria. And so that's the problem that we experience. And that's why the government is focusing on mass transit.
Okay.
That's why we need to get the rail, we need to get our water transport and mass transit moving, because it's not sustainable.
Mm. So if I understand you well, Mr. Ladende, it wouldn't have been as bad as this, but for the fact that government was actually rushing to fix as many roads as it could before the rainy season, and because of that, there was very little leeway. And as you said, nobody plans for a fire that will come and louse up all projections.
I think you're correct. I would say Lagos State, a combination of Lagos State and federal.
Okay.
Because the federal are the ones doing Kara as well as Apapa Uwurushoki. And very soon, I mean, we have quite a number of federal projects in Lagos. So it's a combination of federal government as well as Lagos State government.
Okay. But the slight ray here is that you said that in another couple of hours, things should begin to approach normalcy again.
Yeah, things are moving right now. They're moving slowly, but yes, because we've removed the tanker, we've opened the road, and yes.
Okay, some of the roads that you yourself as government had to additionally close down.
Well, you know, some of the roads that we had to close down because, unfortunately, we're doing rigid pavement. Once you lay the cement on the road, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't open it until it dries up.
Okay.
So that's some of the, I mean, that's what we're experiencing. So some sections of Apapa Uwurushoki, you can't really open it up. Some section of Ojota is going to be rigid pavement so that the road can last longer. So you can't actually open them up. That's the issue.
Mm. And it's interesting.
So in situations where we can open the road up, we would do that.
Yeah.
But in situations where we've laid cement, there's not much we can do.
It's an interesting thing, point that you bring up when you talked about the materials here. The construction materials, cement, as you've said, that's different from asphalt. And this was the direction that Lagos took. As you said, it's not just Lagos, also federal government, because we've been used to asphalt roads, but this is cement, which notably lasts a lot longer.
It lasts a lot longer, yeah, and the maintenance is much more easier. There's no point doing a road and then in 2 years, and because of the volume of traffic coming into Lagos, you have to do it all over again. So let's do something that will last and then we can maintain easily. And it's sustainable.
That's right.
And remember that Lagos has the port, the airport, etc. So we have heavy-duty vehicles that come into Lagos, tractors, trailers, etc. So we've got to account for all of them.
Is this a general shift in Lagos? I'm talking about the construction materials now, because as I was saying, asphalt, it has its problems. And is this a concerted shift, or is it just on some roads? Or will all roads in Lagos now be of this higher quality cement types?
It's mainly on the expressways where we have the trailers, etc.
Okay.
It's not all roads.
Okay.
So where we have the heavy-duty trucks apply. So those are the areas where we're shifting to rigid pavement.
Such as the Apapa Oshodi Expressway.
Uwurushoki.
Uwurushoki.
Apapa Oshodi Expressway, yeah, obviously.
Those are cement.
Ikorodu Road, some sections of Ikorodu Road. Obviously, the BRT, because of the amount of passengers and the amount of buses that fly. So areas where you have heavy use and heavy-duty vehicles, we have to use rigid pavements.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Oladende, Honorable Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State, for giving us this update. We'll go on to the experiences of some of the people that are out there, either travelers or some of our correspondents. All that will be after this.
To the next bus stop. I got to the next bus stop. None of the buses were going anywhere. I walked straight down to toll gates, and I've been at this toll gate for over an hour now, waiting for a vehicle. Finally, the vehicles there came and said 500 naira. I said no. With this gridlock, I was just in the valley of indecision. Then I saw a private vehicle that said Mowe. I entered for 300 naira. But after just about a minute's movement, because there are no movements at all, I decided to put a call through to one of my staffs in the office. And I called that because I know the husband works in secretariat. I said, where is your husband? The husband said, she said she would call the husband. She called the husband, and the husband said he has left home at Lotto, precisely from Mowe, Lotto, by 5:30, and is still on the Long Bridge. He has not gotten to work. And I'm going to Lotto. And I wonder, in fact, I was going with somebody who is supposed to go and give training to the pupils because we run a school. And I looked at it. The lady is supposed to get back to her destination for on or before 12 to do other things. So I had to ask her to go back. Then I continued. But I had to make a decision to go back. So I had to drop. And I'm on my way going back home. It's just, I don't know what to say. Ogun State government had a lot to do. If a vehicle breaks down, there should be arrangements. It's not new. It's been happening. There should be something done. There are people walking. Beggar is there walking. They should have vehicles to pull out the one that has broken down immediately. But that is not done. I understand this has been since yesterday. Almost every time we go through this, the suffering is just too much. Coming all the way from Way Bridge, the same thing, you see the traffic because of the road that is being done at Ojota. My son, I put him in BRT at exactly 7 o'clock. I called him 10 minutes after 8. He was just at Leventis. He's not gotten to school. So you can imagine they should just do something about all of these roads that they're working out. There should be palliative measures so that people don't suffer. You suffer, time is lost, money is lost, so many things. Once else, how can I be in the traffic this way? The stress, by the time I get to work, I'm already fagged out. I will not be able to do anything. So man hour is lost. They need to do something about this. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Good to go? Please tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Samuel Obashesi.
Samuel.
Obashesi. Popularly known as Baba General. Obashesi. Obashesi. Yeah, S-I-N. Obashesi. Obashesi.
Now, tell us your experience coming down from Mowe.
Okay, popularly known as Baba General. Resident in Mowe, Greater Shadow Estate. My experience, I left my house this morning about 5 a.m. What I got to see on the road is that I can see that the road have already blocked with full of trailer. What happened? By the time I closed from work yesterday, going home, I met a trailer burning on Long Bridge, which is only single trailer, which I believe that the firefighter, the road safety, the men of here, they can be able to outdo it in a perfect way. But getting to this morning again, around 5 o'clock, I can see the trailer is still burning, and people are still there. People are still there. They slept on that Long Bridge, and I left out about 10 minutes after 5. But up till now, look at me. I have to be trekking down from Secretariat to here because somebody helped me. Why now they started carrying beggar 400 naira to Ojota, which is not supposed to. And what our government are not helping us. Come and see, even like yesterday, they are robbing, they are snatching phone because of people are trekking, all those umlaws. But now, people are still there. Because they have not opened that road up to now because they say they cannot open it until when the trailer bomb finish before they can be able to remove the trailer.
Yeah. Okay then. it's one of those days in Lagos, few and far between, because this is a major, major lockdown, so to speak. But we were speaking with the Honorable Commissioner for Transportation at the top of the program, and just before these, those inserts came on, those ones we had been running them before, so they don't quite understand. Anybody would feel that way. The First Lady was talking about palliatives and alternatives, but you heard the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Frederick Oladeyinde, telling us exactly what is going down, why it is so, and maybe considering when those inserts were shot, maybe in another hour or so, to sort of update it, things will get better. But just in case, whatever, you can call in yourself. I don't know, you can't know what's going on if you're still on the road yourself, but if there are people who have somehow managed to edge by and are now where they can use their phones in relation to this, or maybe if you have someone that you know is still on the road, maybe you could call them to call in to us and give us an idea of how well it is easing up, because that was what the Commissioner was telling us, that it has started to ease up. It will take some time, since the very way in which it went bad, it wasn't all at once, it was incrementally. I suppose it's going to be like that too when it starts to open up. But if you're out there or you manage to escape it, unlike our guests this morning, we're going to talk about something totally different before the situation itself became the news. Now I'm hearing that we have the Ogun State Federal Road Safety Corps Commander, Sector Commander, on the line. His name is Mr. Clement Oladele. Good morning, Mr. Oladele.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Okay, you can hear us. So from I don't know where you are situated, but are you anywhere near the Ogun State end, or how?
I think let me. Thanks for the intervention, and let me first sympathize with the motoring public, because it's not something people should experience. We had this problem yesterday. Yesterday it coincided with the period when workers were closing from work. I'm talking about people that work in Lagos, but maybe they reside in Ogun, within the Mowe, Warewa, Asheshe, Ibafo, Aziz. And the standard practice is that the moment a tanker is involved in a crash, standard practice is you have to isolate the vehicle, because it is conveying highly flammable products. You don't want a secondary crash, you don't want injuries, and you don't want people to die, which is the essence why FRS was established by the federal government. Then, when we put this into perspective, the next thing is to, after assessment, we now invite the fire service, which we promptly did. But like I said, two things happened. The tanker was laden. The timing was also wrong. Wrong in the sense that it coincided with the time that people were closing from work and they were now like commuting home using the Long Bridge. And the third thing we needed to do, which was ordinarily we shouldn't have done, because the rule is, standard practice, as I said, do condone off the whole area so that nothing happens. But we had to take a very major risk by making sure that, because it happened while traffic was moving out of Lagos. So but those people that were coming into Lagos, since the Long Bridge is a little bit wide enough, we had to divide it into two and still allow traffic, because traffic now went into Lagos, so that people could be moving. The fire service on ground, and we made sure that we pay attention to the burning tanker and also traffic that were moving out of Lagos, which was very risky for us to do, but we had no choice. And we made announcements to let people know. Then our operatives worked there till 3 a.m. this morning, just to make sure that we could contain the situation. Unfortunately, each time they extinguish the fire will reignite again, which made it very difficult for us to fully control. And with that, you can imagine the whole section of traffic moving out of Lagos, that whole lane was blocked, because we had to close it for reasons of safety. And so this was what happened we could not complete the process with the help of sister security, traffic, and emergency agencies, and also the construction company, Julius Berger, because the thing is that you have to allow it also to cool down. You cannot move in that process. And now, eventually, we've succeeded in removing the burnt tanker, the debris. You note also that if this kind of situation happens, there will still be some debris. There will still be even some nails, some sharp objects that if vehicles are moving on top of them, the tires will get ruptured. So these are part of the safety measures we're taking into place. So now we've removed it. The road is opened, but you should know that this is Longbridge. Even the road is undergoing currently rehabilitation. Even where there were no breakdown of a vehicle, as we had yesterday, people that live on this Lagos-Ibadan from Mowe, some of them go as early as 5:30 to go to work just to beat the traffic. So we should expect that this kind of situation will happen. But like I said, I sympathize with members of the public, and that very shortly, since we've opened the road now, we'll ask, and then we issue a statement also that those that have not left Lagos, or even now, those that are just living in Ibadan, we've advised that when you get to Shagam interchange, detour, instead of coming towards Mowe, just detour and drive into Abeokuta town. You now, from the psychiatric hospital, you go towards Itori, you continue your trip to Ifo, to Ota, and from Yanopaja, you can enter Lagos. And those that are about to leave Lagos, maybe you are going to the east or even going to Ibadan, we advise you to go through via Ajah to Ijebu-Ode. You come to Shagam interchange, and then continue your trip. With this, we hope that those that have not left, they will not come and congest the road again. But I will need to tell members of the public, especially those people that are operating this type of vehicles, because they're giving us lots of issues, lots of challenges. If this didn't happen, people will not suffer like this. That there is an international standard. There's actually a convention, an agreement, the 1957 United Nations agreement concerning the international transportation of dangerous goods by road. They call it ADR. Nigeria acceded to it 2 years ago, and it's one of our strategic focus this year. The commercial has directed that we should implement it in total. And what does it say? Is that all those people that are transporting this type of petroleum products, because they are highly flammable, that you must maintain minimum safety standards. One of it is that you should have a seal. One of it also is that you have appropriate fire extinguishers. One of it also is that you should make sure that the vehicle does not suffer breakdown. Because if the vehicle had not broken down yesterday, we wouldn't have had this kind of issue. It had not crashed.
Because, Mr. Oladele, I wanted to come in there. I wanted to ask, how did the laden tanker ignite? Did it self-ignite, or was it involved in an accident?
Yes, it was involved in a crash. Ordinarily, that shouldn't have led to it. But because it was not having those safety standards, it didn't adhere strictly to them. Then that was why it now ignited into fire. And the moment it starts to burn, you bring a fire service for them to extinguish it. But like I said, each time they complete the process of extinguishing the fire and they leave, we will now discover that there will be fire breaking out from other compartments of that particular tanker.
So the fuel probably had to be, exhausted by the fire.
Yes.
Before you could get it under control. That's why it took that long. I
told you that we couldn't complete the operation, the rescue operation, until this morning.
Yeah.
It was around 3 a.m. 3 a.m. that we took up the decision that, okay, let us suspend the operation, and then very early in the morning by 5 a.m. we resumed the operation again to make sure that we finally remove the debris from the
Even
as
road. You are still investigating the situation, any reports of lives lost or casualties?
No, we'll issue a statement as soon as we complete our investigation. Our crash investigators are at the scene. They are making sure that they do the needful.
How many vehicles? How many vehicles were involved?
No, it will be two.
Do you know yet how many vehicles were involved in this unfortunate crash?
No, in FRSC, we don't just want to mention a particular information until we are very sure of it. So as soon as our crash investigators they complete the operation, with all the information we've given as those that we have confirmed, and very shortly we'll give information. We'll give a holistic information about the whole situation, the unfortunate situation that happened. But once again, let me use the opportunity to sympathize with members of the public for what has happened to them.
And more importantly, that the situation is getting better, is it?
Yes, the situation is under control.
From the Ogun State end.
Happens again, because the moment we have this kind of situation, some of the vehicles, especially the trucks that are already using that particular corridor, they are susceptible to being maybe suffering from overheating or breaking down. But our tow trucks are also on ground to make sure we remove them.
Okay.
But the moment we don't have that kind of situation within the next few hours.
Okay, so once again, before you go, you're advising, if anybody is coming in from Ogun end, you advise...
If you are just leaving, for instance now, if you are just leaving Ibadan, let's use Ibadan as a base, or you are about to leave Lagos, try as much as possible to avoid the Long Bridge.
Okay.
So that you not go and clog the already tense situation. So that if we can only deal with people that are living within Warewa, within Bafo, Mowe, if you are just living Mowe now, I would advise you to go through, you can come to Shagam. Shagam is just about 15 minutes drive. You now connect to Abeokuta, and you continue your trip. Or you go through Ijebu and link via Aja, and get into Lagos. It's better that way, so that those that are already stuck in it now, we can easily, as quickly as possible, manage the situation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clement Oladile, Ogun State Sector Commander, FRC, for that update. Okay, we'll go on a break now, but as I said, if there's anything, if any of our usual viewers in Lagos, of course, you have to be in Lagos, even though we broadcast, across the country and indeed to the diaspora. But if there's anything you'd like to contribute by way of your observation or whatever, please feel free to do so. And meanwhile, we'll be looking at some of the material that we got earlier of experiences before this particular juncture. Stay with us, please. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back.